Good morning and hello, I'm Professor Coe. This is the Forex Supermodel Racing Review for Thursday the 30th of June 2022. Nothing to review for yesterday, we had no bets, and today is a little bit tricky as well. So racing for the 30th then, we're looking at Epsom on the flat 636. It's an EBF, European Breeders' Fund restricted maiden stakes for B, C and D bands, class 4, 7 furlongs 3 yards, good to firm. Now what do we know about 7 furlongs at Epsom? Well, it's very quick. It's modelled at 100. Lingfield 5 furlongs is also 100 to give you an idea. So it's quick. Now it cuts up accordingly. You've got basically number 3, which is Self Praise, which is the likely 5 to 6 favourite. And what do we know about Self Praise? Well, it's had 4 runs. The first run was Doncaster, 5 furlong, good to firm, maiden, and that's modelled 99. So that's pretty close. That was a fast race, but over a 2 furlong shorter. And if you want to improve your race reading, sort of generally, if you have a look at that race, that's the first race that Self Praise ran in. That's the Doncaster 5 furlong, and you want to look at trips, pace, position and bias. You'll find that horse had a very bad trip. It had to be switched. It was blocked, and then it ran on with speed. So that was promising. And then they stuck it into Chester, which is a 5 furlong good to soft maiden, model 98. It had a wide draw, and if you want to look at that race as well from a perspective of trip handicapping, it was drawn 8, I think, and it was wide. It was 3 wide on the turn, and basically it was losing ground all the way. So the first 2 races it didn't really have much chance in, and then they stuck it into the Epsom 6 furlong good, which was the Woodcote Stakes. So they upped it in grade. So they obviously thought a lot of it, where is it? The winner is rated about official rating 96. It was 11th in the Chesham, so the Woodcote wasn't really that clever. Not bad, but not that clever. And it started rear and ran on our horse. So this Self Praise. So it sort of showed itself a little bit up. It's got an official rating mark of 87, handicap mark. So it's had those 3 runs, and then finally it went out a Newmarket. Maiden 7 furlongs, and you'd think that 7 furlongs would suit. It's a fast 7 furlongs, model 97, and it still managed to find 1-2 good deaths. So it's a nearly horse, this Self Praise. It's been handled a little bit awkwardly, I would say, but it's not our horse, so it's not for us to say. So that's that one. So that's 5 to 6. And the Betfair over rounds about 104-105% at the moment, right? So next you've got this number 1, this Ben Acre. It's an FTO, first time out. So we've got no real racing information for that, but we've looked at the breeding, and it's a very likely candidate on breeding, and the odds are 6-4 as well. So, and the third one that the market's even remotely interested in is this number 2 in the Storm. It's about 7 to 1, and that's been running at Chelmsford, single run at Chelmsford Novice Stakes, 7 furlongs. And Chelmsford's pretty slow. Chelmsford's model 92. Bear in mind this is 100. So and it's a big green horse, and it doesn't really have the pace. It's not likely to have the pace today. So you can get that one out of the equation. So you're left with this. You're left with this FTO, Ben Acre, and this Nearly horse. Now this Nearly horse, it's a little bit undersized, but from what we can see, it's sort of that's probably what its problem is. It's a little bit physically small, and therefore it's got a relatively short, quick stride. Still pretty good, but it's vulnerable. So this Self Praise, and we don't know about this Ben Acre. Now the over round, as we said, is about 104-105. In the ideal world, if you were going to bet that, you'd want to use Self Praise as the break-even hedge, and then if this was did the decent thing and drifted out to sort of 7-2, 4-1, whatever, off the back of in the storm coming in, which, and it shouldn't do really in our view, but it might do, then you could get a sort of effectively a free bet on the FTO using self-praise as the break-even hedge. But it's all very tight and marginal, and we're probably going to give it a miss. So that's where it goes, and that's the best of the job really today. So our account is static. It's plus 59.195 units in profit. So we've got a little lull in the betting there. But this self-praise is really worth a look if you want to improve your racing knowledge. Have a look at the first race at where was it, Doncaster, and then Chester, the following race, and you'll sort of really think about how the horse has been positioned and run, and how it affects the situation. Now the Doncaster race is modelled at 99, and the Chester race is modelled at where is it, 98. So there, and that was good to soft. So just bear that in mind when you're watching the races. It's quick. And so is this. Is this going to be? So anyway, that's the best we can do. Thanks for watching and subscribing, and we'll review this tomorrow, and see you tomorrow, and goodbye.